Seungri and Jung Joon Young, it really doesn't look good for either of you. Both are out of the Korean entertainment industry, and it wasn't by choice. The K-pop world was set ablaze when Seungri, he of Big Bang fame, and singer-songwriter Jung Joon Young abruptly resigned from the Korean entertainment industry. The reason why? A scandal that happened at Seungri's club, Burning Sun, in which he was heavily involved in. The scandal soon exploded past club doors as it exposed a lot of Korean labels and K-pop celebrities on just their dirty misdeeds. The scandal really questions how idols really are, as well as their K-pop labels outside of concerts, as well as the morality of the K-pop industry itself. It's safe to say that the Burning Sun scandal is one of the biggest scandals in K-pop history. So in this expose, we're going to expose the scandal for what it really is, as it sent shockwaves throughout the Korean music industry. As a quick disclaimer, this case is quite long and lengthy, so I'm going to try to make it as understandable as possible. We're going to break down what happened at Burning Sun and how it soon extended well past its doors. So with that being said, let's get on with this expose. First, Burning Sun. The club is located in the ritzy Gangnam area, and since Seungri was involved in the club's management, they used his name to brand the establishment. On January 28th of 2009, a breaking story on News Desk told of a story of a man by the name of Mr. Kim. He claimed that he was assaulted by the Burning Sun nightclub staff back on November 24th, 2018, while defending a woman being sexually harassed. You can see Mr. Kim being beaten outside by several people, with passerbys just walking along. But when the police arrived, Mr. Kim was arrested as the assailant for disrupting business and doing sexual harassment. In turn, Mr. Kim denied these charges and vowed to bring these claims to court. We'll hear about Mr. Kim a bit later because this incident brought up another startling event. CCTV footage was leaked of a Thai woman being dragged down by the hair down a club hallway while trying to grab a desk and laptop for help. The woman reported said incident to the police, but somehow the police didn't take action and it was alleged that Burning Sun deleted the footage. Now, if the Burning Sun news stopped here, this is pretty bad. Yet since Seungri was involved and had his name attached to the club, this case would get a lot more complex. The following day, on January 29th, the owners of Burning Sun, CEOs Lee Sung-hyun and Lee Moon-ho, issued a statement about Mr. Kim's assault and planned to work with police. They also said that Seungri did not have any ownership of the club since his name was not on the property deed, and that he was a partner on the management side of things, and that his Big Bang brand was used to promote the nightclub. Seungri's label, YG Entertainment, distanced themselves immediately, not giving any official statement and saying they're not involved. Yet the Big Bang singer was not off the hook. Not by a long shot. Since Seungri was known to be hands-on in running his business ventures, many K-pop fans became skeptical that he didn't know anything. While the CEO said that Seungri was not there at that fateful day on November 24th last year, K-pop fans countered by pulling up photos of him and Sonushide singer Hyo-yeon that night on social media. Furthermore, these fans said that a celebrity of Seungri's stature would know everything that's going on in the club, even as a partner. Others, however, defended Seungri, saying that just because he's a partner of the club, he may not have known everything, similar to a CEO not knowing everything when they run a business with thousands of employees. Up to this point, both have valid claims. So far, from January 28th and 29th, the focus of the scandal was Mr. Kim being assaulted, a woman being dragged and pulled by the hair, and how much Seungri knew about all of this. The next day, however, would explode the case and show a deeper evil, a slimy, shady, dark side of Korean celebrity life. On January 30th, a former employee of Burning Sun spilled the beans on what really happens in the club's VIP rooms. The employee pointed out that in one CCTV recording, there was girls being drugged and just raped in these rooms. The video soon went viral, as now there was ample evidence of a prostitution ring as well as illegal drugs being used inside the club. In the following days, YG Entertainment also started to do damage control, as Seungri's involvement soon spilled to the label. YG would defend the Big Bang singer, saying that Seungri left the club at 3 a.m. on November 24th, and that Mr. Kim's assault took place 3 hours later at 6 a.m., so Seungri wasn't there during the incident. Seungri would also condemn Mr. Kim's assault, saying that he wasn't notified about the incident until days later. The CEOs further downplayed Seungri's part owner status, saying that he was merely a consultant and in charge of hiring DJs at the club. Yet a day later, on February 1st, more witness testimony from Burning Sun employees came forth, with one saying that they witnessed women getting raped while barely unconscious in the VIP bathrooms. We also go back to Mr. Kim, who was assaulted days earlier. In a weird twist, Mr. Kim is actually being accused of harassment instead of being a victim and defending the harassed lady. About 2 weeks later, on February 15th, the scandal is now on the minds of many. The police would raid Burning Sun and seize the club's CCTV footage. 2 days later, on February 17th, the club shuts down as more clubs start to become investigated for illegal drug and sex activities. Meanwhile, throughout the scandal burning in the background, Seungri hosted a solo concert in Seoul on February 16th, apologizing to his fans. Yet, the damage to Seungri's reputation has already been done. So now back to Mr. Kim and a short recap. If you think things couldn't get worse for Mr. Kim, well, I don't know what to tell you, because now he's being hit with a third count of sexual harassment of women inside that club. And the club was saying that it was justified in using harsh measures because of what he was doing. Now, if your head is spinning because of all the details in this case, I don't blame you, because there's a lot to take in. So here's a quick recap. Burning Sun is now shut down as police raided it for CCTV records and evidence. Seungri is definitely involved, and all other clubs are now put on high alert to see if they have a prostitution ring or using illegal drugs. But it's not over. Not even close. A week or so later, on February 25th and 26th, new evidence of the case starts to emerge. Seungri is now accused of finding prostitutes for rich clients. This is supported by SBS Funny, as they released text messages discussing this between the CEO of Yuri Holdings, one of the investors of Burning Sun, Mr. Yu, who's the CEO of Yuri Holdings, an employee, and Seungri back in 2015. The police soon launched an investigation to see if these text messages are true. Meanwhile, YG's stock value takes a beating during the controversy. While YG and Yuri Holdings both strongly deny and claim that these text messages are made up, fabricated, untrue, one reporter wouldn't back down, and that would be SBS Funny reporter Kang Kyung-yoon. She would put her name on the accusations, saying that there's no reason to fabricate or edit the reported messages. She wouldn't back down to YG, Burning Sun, the police, Seungri, Mr. Yu, or even the government. Kang is known to be one of the first people in journalism to stand up for Kara's Guhara, as she would pen an article about Guhara's ex-boyfriend trying to blackmail her using a sex tape. With dealing with such sensitive issues, it's common for the whistleblower to be protected by having their identity protected or hidden. Yet Miss Kang would have balls of steel and would go all in. She would do something rare in Korean journalism, stand up publicly to the police, government, and high-powered celebrities that often threaten a reporter's job, image, and in some cases, their life. Meanwhile, there's further troubles for Seungri. He gets summoned by police for questioning if the drugs and sexual escort allegations are true. While he was acquitted from drug charges, the heat on him by February 28th is so immense, he has to cancel his upcoming concerts in Osaka and Jakarta. Meanwhile, for much of March, more dirt is uncovered as Burning Sun co-CEO Lee Sung-hyun admitted to bribing a policeman for 20 million won dealing with letting a minor into the club. The police also confirmed that the reporter, Kang Kyung-yoon's breaking story on those leaked messages back in 2015 of sexual escort services were in fact not changed or altered. In other words, they were legit. During this time, BAE's Kyung-yoon took a veiled shot at Seungri, hinting that he needed to learn humility by, quote, "You told me to learn a trade as expected. People need humility." Add to the fact that Burning Sun was registered in the retail food industry instead of a nightclub to evade paying a lot of tax, and there's just so much dirt in this case. As for Seungri, now he's a prime suspect for violating the South Korean acts on pimping and prostitutions and its punishments. But it's not over, not by a long shot. So far, we've only talked about Seungri's involvement in the case. This is where Jung Joon Young starts to come in. On March 11th, SBS Fun E reported that there was a disturbing Kakao Talk conversation between Seungri, Jung Joon Young, the CEO from Yuri Holdings, Mr. Yu, a couple other celebrities, and some other people. And in this conversation, Jung Joon Young was posting sexual videos that he did with other women without consent, or basically spy cam porn. And there was at least 10 victims confirmed thus far. As Jung's name is tied to Seungri and now the Burning Sun incident that's been raging on for over a month, public scrutiny from that incident is now focused on him. When he arrived back in Korea from the US after those allegations, he soon admitted that he did upload sex videos to the Kakao chat room and apologized. He would quickly be released by his music agency Make Us Entertainment. But that's not all. In addition to Jung sharing sex videos, now former FT Island member Choi Jong-yoon was among the celebrities in more text messages. The discussion detailed how to bribe the police to cover Choi's drunk driving accident. This is later found out to be Choi's drunk driving incident that happened way back in February 2016. CN Blue's Lee Jong-hyun was also found to be in those Kakao Talk discussions. He would be involved in sharing spy cam porn as well. K-pop celebrities often try to hide any mishaps, such as drunk driving, to maintain their squeaky clean image. Highlight, or formerly Beast, Jung Joon Young would also leave his group after being involved as well. Although he was not part of any group chats, he did talk to Jung Joon Young about the hidden camera footage privately. All of these celebrities are being summoned by the police for further questioning, and you can bet that if further celebrities are found, they too will be summoned. And it's also been known that the Korean government, anytime they want to hide some corruption, use celebrity news to hide their tracks. Commissioner General Min Gap-rong vowed to investigate corruption in the police force and launch a nationwide investigation of clubs in South Korea to find and punish those doing drugs, sexual assault, and filming hidden camera videos. Back once again to Mr. Kim and the initial case of Burning Sun. In this back and forth he said, she said, the truth finally emerges on March 7th. Mr. Kim was actually telling the truth. I know this Mr. Kim assault case is very confusing, but thankfully, CCTV and a bit of investigation finally cleared the case. Now formerly known as Kim Sang-gyo, CCTV footage shows a man grabbing Mr. Kim and starts to assault him. Mr. Kim proceeds to be beaten by Burning Sun employees outside, as we've seen earlier, while the man that started the assault exited through the VIP exit and inside a getaway car. It was found out that the man was a VIP as well as an acquaintance of both Seungri and Burning Sun CEO. The man was known to spend between 7,000 to 9,000 USD on tables in each visit. Kim Sang-gyo claims that Burning Sun beat him to cover for the VIP customers' horrible actions. Furthermore, the three women who accused Mr. Kim of sexual assault are all connected to Burning Sun. One woman, Anna, was known to be a promoter of the club, while the other two women are acquaintances of the club's CEO and an employee of the club. As the police looks more into this lie onto Mr. Kim, it's good to see him stick to his guns and get his innocence, as the truth finally comes out. On March 11th, Seungri announces his retirement from the Korean entertainment industry and by extension, Big Bang. In his farewell Instagram post, Seungri said that he was leaving the entertainment industry to save face from both YG Entertainment as well as his bandmates from Big Bang. But to be honest, with all the intense criticism and heat that he's been facing, there was no way he could salvage his entertainment career. Until March 11th and Seungri's withdrawal from K-pop, the debate whether Seungri was guilty or not has been fierce. There's been K-pop fans that demanded that he be kicked out of Big Bang and casted him guilty, while there were other fans and Seungri supporters that fought back and defended the Big Bang singer. Since then, with a lot more testimony and evidence of his activities, more people have been against Seungri. YG Entertainment would uphold Seungri's retirement as they would also release him from his contract. As for Mr. Yu of Yuri Holdings, he too has stepped down from his company. Phew, now we're all caught up with all the major points discussed. So far, we have assault, sexual harassment, a sexual prostitution ring, tax evasion, and corruption in the police and K-pop ranks. Sadly, it's safe to say that there's a fair number of idols and companies that could possibly be doing similar activities. Now we're going to talk about the aftermath and the huge ripple effects of the case. Well, it's time to take off the safety gloves to dish out the hammer of justice. And the first person to do that is Seungri. Step on down. And if you watch this channel for a while, you know I give the benefit of the doubt. I don't just witch hunt people just because. I like to get the evidence and see both sides. But with more evidence on Seungri than sand on a beach, it's pretty much official that he's committed a lot of crimes. Make no mistake, Seungri's career in entertainment is over. His fall from grace as one of the most iconic singers in Big Bang to, well, now a sleazeball that's been engaged in a slew of immoral activities would just shatter his reputation once and for all. It was also discovered on March 17th that Seungri was indeed a part owner, owning 20% of the club and not just merely a manager or hands-on person, furthering the point that he was a lot more hands-on than he and the Burning Sun CEOs let on. Yet the one thing that's not been talked about too often is that the Burning Sun case got so much attention because of Seungri, because he's a top-tier celebrity and he's involved. If this was just another club sans Seungri that was getting raided for having illicit drugs and a prostitution ring, sure, it would make Korean news for a day or two, but by the end of the week, it'd be glanced over by most people. The Seungri connection, however, exposed the darkest sides of the K-pop celebrity life. Due to his celebrity status, anything that he did would be a lot more scrutinized. They got a lot of people and reporters digging deeper to see if anything was going on beyond Burning Sun. The Burning Sun case opened a conversation of questioning what our favorite idols and K-pop labels do and to hold them accountable. And even if Seungri had no connection or knowledge of the Burning Sun incident, of Mr. Kim's assault and the woman's abuse, all Seungri's behind-the-scenes behavior is appalling. Describing women as food on a menu list? Disgusting. He described his women fetish parties as Seungri, a Gatsby-themed party. Seungri was also a gambler, which isn't a bad thing in itself, but then using an illegal bank to get around Korean gambling laws. And of course, him being involved firsthand in a prostitution ring. Seungri's future is pretty much dead, at least in the entertainment industry, as he's been questioned for over 16 hours by police and now postponing his military service. Many companies, such as Ayori Ramen, have cut ties with the former Big Bang singer. It's a fall from grace that's well-deserved, in my opinion, for Seungri. The second person I have beef with is Jung Joon Young, and I have this nagging feeling while Seungri and Jung Joon Young apologize for their crimes, I feel that they're more sorry that they got caught than, sharing sex porn cam videos amongst themselves or actually filming girls having sex. Oh my god. It looks like that Seungri and Jung Joon Young's career will be forever linked as one, as these two had their careers go down in flames at the same time. As of March 15th, he, alongside Seungri, was questioned by police for hours on end. In Jung's case, he was interrogated for 21 hours. What's even more damning is that this wasn't the first time Jung's hidden camera sexcapades were hinted, as it was alleged back in 2016 he was illegally filming a sexual encounter with a woman without consent. In addition, some netizens were saying that Jung's disgusting behavior goes way back, even further to 2012. What makes his video sharing even worse is that he shared some of the sex videos via the iPhone's airdrop function, as the videos were spread to iPhone users. How the airdrop works is that anyone that's close to each other, around 9 meters in distance, can share files wirelessly. Dubbed the airdrop terror, some people accidentally received the video and are further spreading the videos. As to this date, there's no real set regulations or laws to prevent victims from being damaged further using this technique. While Jung Joon Young did offer a lengthy apology, it'll take a lot more than that to repent for his crimes. With all of his shows, such as 2 Days and One Night, either being withheld or him cut out completely, Jung Joon Young's career has been cancelled. The exposing of so many celebrities breaking laws, dealing in some horrific acts, and being corrupt also leads to another big act, the shattering of your favorite idol's squeaky clean image. Now don't get me wrong, a lot of idols are, in fact, good people and live honest lives, as we'll talk about later. But as we've seen in this case, there's also a lot of scummy idols as well. No matter how many albums they sell or how many concerts they fill, idols should also be held to be decent people. My take? Give idols the benefit of the doubt, but if they turn out to be scummy, drop them immediately. After all, there's only so much a K-pop fan can tolerate. Continuing a bit on the idol's image, there's only so much a K-pop fan can tolerate. And this will talk about the differences between Korean culture and Western culture. For instance, if we, in the West, find out our favorite celebrity is doing illegal drugs, most are actually pretty cool with it. A lot of us will think, well, as long as they're just doing drugs to relieve themselves and not hurting others, hey man, no worries. However, in Korea, doing any kind of drugs is a big no-no, as the country is still largely conservative in values, so there's a huge taboo with them. But one thing that pretty much any culture won't accept, however, is if an idol does something unimaginable, such as rape, sexual harassment, brutal assault, and breaking laws like they're a god. For these crimes, K-pop fans would scream in disgust, with a ton of them dropping that idol immediately, even if that person was their favorite bias or bae. After all, everyone has their limits, their line in the sand, so to speak. I feel that belief shows that yes, K-pop fans will stand their favorite idols, but only if they're good, moral people. There's been other celebrities linked to Seungri and Jung Joon Young's sex chat rooms, but they haven't been confirmed. Any male celebrities, even being mentioned alongside with them, have vehemently denied the accusations, while female celebrities are quick to deny being in those sex videos. In fact, celebrities' agents have stated that they would sue if further allegations without evidence are pointed towards their clients, since it ruins their reputation and image. This is a smart move, since being involved with them is akin to the Grim Reaper, death to their careers. After all, the scandal is that big of a deal. Usually when K-pop news is circulated in Korea, most casual and non-K-pop fans don't really care. Yet the scandal hit hard, as the crimes listed are horrific to anyone. It shook Korean society as it resurfaced a lot of social themes. I know for me personally, a lot of my friends still in Korea are talking about it every hour. After all, it's the top circulating news on Naver. Even a lot of my non-K-pop friends are shocked, talking about how dirty K-pop is, or that this is one of the major reasons they can never get into K-pop in the first place. The scandal is as big as the Park Geun-hye scandal back in 2014 that detailed a very corrupt government, bribes, and the failure to save hundreds of high school students' lives on the sinking Sewol. YG Entertainment is taking a further beating from the scandal. For starters, there were rumors and accusations that YG knew what Seungri and his buddies were doing. And to further on to that, YG was pretty much Seungri's mentor, so there was a lot of accusations that Seungri learned his bad behavior from YG himself. YG, for the past couple of years, has been looking really bad. The vaunted YG dungeon, which keeps many of his artists in limbo, and his own questionable and immoral past, YG's image is at an all-time low. Investors would seem to agree with this assessment as well, as during the Seungri Burning Sun scandal, YG stocks have fell quite hard. I remember the YG brand being one of the strongest, one of the premier K-pop labels from the mid-2000s to the mid-2010s. But now, I feel YG Entertainment lost a lot of that luster, because I feel that if YG doesn't recover, and recover soon, that this scandal could actually bring him outside of the big three.
And he may be paying the price even more. With more recent news, YG stocks have plummeted by 25%, and investors are looking for blood, namely Young Hyun-suk himself. The investors, among other things, are suing Papa YG for the lack of morality and ethics and failure to supervise his stars properly, citing that YG has a lot of influence and power to do so. Whether you can sue someone for having a, quote, lack of morality or not supervising Seungri, I'm not so sure, but it shows that YG is in deep trouble. And a similar case is also being met for Make Us Entertainment, the former company that once housed Jung Joon Young. Not to be outdone by Papa YG, Mr. Yu has stepped up to the plate for all the wrong reasons. When pressed about Seungri's guilt, the former Yuri Holdings CEO stepped up for his friend. Now for this next quote, it's important to take it in context and not just cherry pick one part. So here's the context first. In defending Seungri, he states that those Kakao messages were over 3 years old, that was just joking around, and that he wasn't in the chat rooms personally, so he wouldn't know. Then he drops the quote, "If Seungri is guilty, all Korean men are guilty," implying that all Korean men do these things. And that's where I personally disagree with. Because yes, while men do talk about if a girl is attractive or hot, it stops there. It doesn't involve rape or drugging or prostitution because that sort of behavior isn't normalized in Korean society. People can't just walk down Seoul and say the stuff that Seungri did in public. It would be reported and they'd be arrested immediately. And people that do engage in those actions, such as rape or drugging, are just horrible people and should be punished harshly. But Mr. Yu isn't done just yet, as he continues to say that if these women are raped, why didn't they report it right away to the police and instead went to the press? Well, there's some reasons for this. For one, rape victims have a hard time telling anyone after the immense shock of what just happened. It's really a mixture of anger, being hurt, being violated, being scared as hell, and shame for getting raped. And this is what I hear from survivors. And two, sometimes it's more effective to tell the press than the police, as when the press makes the news public, more people become aware immediately. I do hope these rape victims do get their horrific experiences out ASAP and tell the police, as the sooner they do, the more evidence will be found on them immediately. And Mr. Yu has a final quotable quote with saying, "Do you think drugs only circulate in Burning Sun?" Well, that's really the logic of, well, everyone else does it, so hey, we can too. And if you bust us, you should bust all clubs that do this then. Well, I'm sure the police is definitely on it, Mr. Yu. They just caught you and Burning Sun first. As much as I blasted Seungri, Jung Joon Young, YG, and Mr. Yu of Yuri Holdings, other parties involved should also be held accountable. Namely, any of the police officers that actively helped and aided these culprits, any government officials and politicians should also be held for their crimes. I'm not sure what an appropriate punishment should be, but they should definitely be doled out to all the people involved. Now, let's move on to that slimy side of K-pop. Now, to no one's surprise, there's a dark side of K-pop. Us K-pop lovers always knew that there was some shady and slimy stuff happening behind the scenes. So when the Burning Sun scandal happened, it's perhaps the biggest scandal that opened up that dark side so much, so fast. Having so much of an idol's immoral activities out in the open also shatters that image that an idol can do no wrong, that their wholesome image matches their real-life persona outside of singing. This is not the first major sex tape scandal in Korean entertainment. 19 years ago, singer Baek Ji-young woke up one day and unknowingly saw a video of her having sex with her manager being spread around. The tape was secretly filmed by her ex-manager, Kim Ji-won, and was used to blackmail her when she wanted to switch managers during the height of her career. The video went viral and her career was soon ruined. She apologized profusely, but to no avail, as the public was quick to eviscerate her. She had all of her shows and sponsorships canceled. Public opinion of her was so low that she even had to have one fan meeting in the mountains. It took several years until she was able to go back on national TV, but she did bounce back and recover, becoming one of the queens of OSTs. She'd married Jung Suk-won in 2013 and now has a good reputation. As for her former manager, Kim Ji-won, he was arrested in the US in 2008 for having sex with a minor. Yuck. How things have changed in Korea in just 2 decades, as public opinion of sex tapes do not automatically blame the woman anymore. And while yes, treatment of women could definitely be improved in Korea, People are slowly realizing just how horrible it is for these victims to be in these spy porn cams.
If there was a Medal of Honor in journalism, Miss Kang would be among the first to receive it. How she stood up to the higher powers in exposing the dark side of K-pop should be applauded. However, for her sake, I hope she gets a security team, because I know it sounds silly that she needs bodyguards to go out in public, but it might be that case, especially in Korea. Because for a lot of these bigwigs, they'll pretty much do anything to snuff out any negative leaks or exposés. And I feel that's really sad, because I personally feel that freedom of speech ought to be protected. But unfortunately, some people don't play by those same rules. Threats and violence towards journalists or just anyone shouldn't be tolerated, as Miss Kang did her job and did it very well.
But it's not just Kang Kyung-yoon that's putting themselves on the line. Political journalist Oh Hyuk-jin has also put his name out there in exposing the scandal. Now, as dangerous as exposing one's name so publicly is, the advantage is, if that the corrupt higher powers tries to off them, good luck trying to explain why so-and-so journalists suddenly disappeared. The public would riot against these organizations, as these journalists will be protected by the common people. One of the biggest topics surrounding this case is cracking down on Molka, meaning spy cameras or hidden cameras in Korean. Illegally filming somebody, especially while having sex, is a horrible thing. So when it was discovered that Jung Joon Young indulged in this activity, sharing his spy porn cams with his idol friends just naturally got a lot of people furious. Making this even worse, if we haven't hit that level yet, is that during the Molka sharing between male celebrities, there was talk of rape and sexual violence on some of these victims, with some laughing. With both the Korean public as well as the international community outraged that such crimes went on for so long, the case will most likely lead to more establishments having CCTVs. There was a link between K-pop celebrities, their K-pop labels, and the police. The shady backdeals and corruption showed police would not only hide many idols' crimes, but illustrated just how unfair the police would treat these wealthy celebrities, that they were above the law, not to mention that corruption erodes public trust in them. This was apparent when the Seoul Central District's prosecutor's office had to take over the Burning Sun scandal from the police. There was also petitions sent to the Blue House, Korea's version of the US White House, to clean up the Korean entertainment industry. And the Blue House has responded, as President Moon Jae-in vowed to clean that up. I feel there needs to be a more strict, more powerful watchdog in Korean entertainment, because if there is one right now, it's not powerful enough. Too many chaebols, or Korean conglomerates, companies, and celebrities are able to influence the government, police, and even media at will. With a strong watchdog, a lot of the crimes can be exposed a lot faster, and celebrities will think twice before engaging in horrible acts. Now, Big Bang's other four members knew Seungri needed to grow up a bit and have good influences. During some of Big Bang's interviews shown by Prince Henry Mack, the other Big Bang members were hinting that the group would only be 4 by 2020. G-Dragon even predicted that if Seungri didn't grow up, he would get into big trouble.
本当にね、
先輩として
守れないよ。
先輩として心配してくれるってことですね。
もちろんでしょ
まあ僕ってそういう時期は、
まあ今はストロンベイビーじゃないからね。
そういうことは超えたじゃないかなってことでね。
今はベイビーじゃない
ね、本当に僕だっても本当に責任が取って今いろんなことや。
Who knew that G-Dragon would be a psychic? Seungri's downfall showed how negative influences and hanging out with the wrong people can ruin someone's life. I guess some celebrities think that they're above morality, but then karma gets them in the end. And in Seungri's case, karma definitely got him in the end. And since we're talking about Big Bang, with the other 4 members doing their military service, what happens when they all finish their service? They can reunite and continue as 4, or they can do separate singing and acting careers. Big Bang's reputation, sans Seungri, is still very strong, as they're one of the most iconic groups in K-pop history. It's just sad to see Seungri tarnish some of that history with his disgusting antics. Nonetheless, if Big Bang decided to get together, I'm sure they'd have a legion of fans that would support them. After all, it's hard to forget such an influential group such as Big Bang and what they did for K-pop. For as much as I love K-pop, exposing the dark side on this massive scale was needed. K-pop, for all the good it brings, needs serious cleaning. The fact that new evidence from text chats, video, and CCTV show that some idols are involved in scummy things shows that K-pop needs to be rehauled. K-pop, we have some serious work to do. So wrapping it up, what once was an isolated matter at Burning Sun soon turned into something much bigger than no one expected. From Seungri being mentioned with Burning Sun, to going well beyond those club doors, the scandal exposed his horrific crimes that he and his idol buddies partook in. The scandal swept the entire nation as it addressed much more serious points such as corruption in the police and government, sexual prostitution, violence, illicit spy cam porn, idols and companies' arrogance, and more. It makes me sad to hear about all of this, as change is truly needed in K-pop.
And if I may, I'd like to add add my own 2 cents to this. Now first, my condolences to all the victims that have been hurt, the women that's been in these spy porn cams, and the men and women who's been used in this whole scandal. I am deeply sorry, and I hope you guys can recover and bounce back as quickly as possible. As for the K-pop public and general fan, I know you guys are disappointed. I am very disappointed. You guys might be angry, outraged, depressed, sad. All of those are totally normal. But if I can just ask the K-pop fandom, it's just a humble YouTuber, is I hope there's no extreme violence or extreme witch hunting or name calling or insults between K-pop fans. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm totally with you in denouncing the guilty parties such as Seungri, Jung Joon Young, and YG, and others. I think they should all be held accountable and all be punished somehow. But I feel that these days, in news especially, that bad news is a lot more promoted than good news. It really feels that shock news and scandals just get a lot more views. But I want to go into other direction and promote good people, good celebrities that do great work and that live morally, such as, say, Park Bo-gum. He's a great actor and he lives very morally. And there's a lot of other people in the K-pop entertainment industry that are like this. So if we can balance it out and we can punish the bad celebrities, but also promote the good celebrities, I think we'll be better off as a K-pop community. So guys, what do you guys think about this expose in exposing the dark side of K-pop, Seungri, and Jung Joon Young? It's a really sad case, but I felt it was one that had to be done in cleaning up K-pop. So I'd love to know your thoughts, opinions, anything in the comments below.
And you guys know the drill. If you guys want real talk on K-pop and K-pop journalism, then please sign up for my email list and grab that free ebook on learning more about K-pop in depth.
And until next time, I'll see you guys in the next video, and hopefully it'll be a more positive, upbeat video on K-pop. Take it easy, guys.